Matt,
It's me.
what have we got going on today?
Getting to today, we have the hot topic of, well, I mean, BlizzCon was a hot topic of the week, but the even hotter topic, which was the customizations.
Oh, Eli
Yes.
Cannon, you maybe were not aware of what that comment would do to the community.
It hurt everyone, especially after those promises.
Yeah. So the context here to get you caught up. During the BlizzCon Q&A, Eli Cannon, who was he art director or producer, but basically,
Director, I think.
yeah. So he's one of the higher up guys in the WoW team, specifically in the department of the art, which generally means he's doing a pretty damn great job. Him and his team,
Yeah,
because the art's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, everyone says it carries the game.
However, when asked about more character customizations, he said that there are no more planned, at least for Shadowlands. And this is one of those tricky situations, I think, where the community hearing developers talk about their game can get a little bit mixed up and the wires can get crossed.
Yes.
Because it seemed pretty clear to us at the time that Eli was talking a little more about, him doing his job in a way, which...
Yeah.
It's not always 100% player facing all the time. A lot of it's for him going to be very like, how do I load manage the teams so that they, have all got stuff to do, and that the stuff that they're doing is the most aligned with what actually gets our players content. So I think that's really what he meant. But of course, what it came out as in response to this question was no more customizations. And then many people thought, well, I really like the customizations they added to the game. And then a lot of people felt that Blizzard saying how happy they were about the player response kind of indicated more customizations would happen, and no, they're not.
No, absolutely not. It's interesting. I think that I wonder how far ahead they have all of those resources already spent. I think that's the major thing, because obviously, the correct thing to do here would have been to make customizations, for sure.
Yes.
It's like when you're doing something good as a World of Warcraft team, and the players say, "Thanks, can we have more?" The correct move is obviously make more, but it's generally not that simple when it comes to production teams like that.
Yeah. So if we think about the context, of World of Warcraft stuff, actually, this is really good because this highlights a difference.
Yeah.
Patch 5.4 Siege of Orgrimmar. There is a big reason why the Timeless Isles and Argus looked different. And that is the Timeless Isles was a tile set reuse of the Jade Forest, whereas Argus was an entirely big brand new thing. If you're making an entirely big brand new thing and you're also still having to, release a new expansion with those creatures and loads more armor and all of that stuff, it's going to be hard to then squeeze in a whole bunch of character customizations. And I think a whole bunch of that is just... They just seem to have this production problem where I just have to wonder, I don't want to be as callous as to just say, hey, can you throw as many bodies at the problem? Because then it's like Warhammer 40k and we're sending legions of artists into the pits. But is there a way they can shore up this problem? Because it's pretty damn obvious players want a lot more of this stuff. They're not getting it right now. And let's be honest with ourselves. If you're playing a Night Elf female, you're probably quite happy. But there is a whole bunch of other things that, WoWs are pretty bad, pretty far behind the times. And you can even tell, even for something like the Night Elves, they kind of seem technologically behind the times as well. And I think a bunch of that is... I think other game developers find it way easier with the systems they've made for their character customization to get bits and just sort of have them all go onto a model and be able to farm that stuff out a bit more. For things like hair, to just have a slider. For things like height of a character or other elements of a character's physical proportions to perhaps click and drag or have a slider. And that's the sort of case where the game technologically, the models will be designed for that to be a thing they can do. But who knows what happens if you grab a WoW model and just, drag it up? Does the hair stay on its head? I mean, we all know what it's like playing WoW and just looking at it break slightly quite often. You just wonder. So
Yeah.
I really do like the customizations they've got so far, though, like the jewelry and the leaves in your hair if you're a night elf. It's also nice and thematic. But both of our mains are light forged Draenei's.
Yeah, we kind of got shafted in Shadowlands a little bit, which is almost was a race change. Wasn't quite close enough. Light's Judgment's just a little bit too strong. But yeah, it's there's so much on the tech side that could actually be the problem. But I guess one of the things to highlight is keyboard turn, who the person who makes a significant amount of feedback on everything that happens with customization, and has long been an advocate of if they did things right, they would be able to do so much more.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of these really long blog posts, and they're kind of incredible.
Yeah, I mean, here, like this is one post, and it's just, here you go. Here's a lot of stuff. I mean, some of this is just feedback, but based on Samaya's Twitter and the work they've actually done with Go3D, it seems like.
Did we bring any of that up?
Yeah, sure.
So I think WoW have got some of it posted, but yeah, the one thing I'd say is there are probably reasons why it's easier for a solo person to just jump in there and do the thing. And it's one of those things, as players, we very much are all going to have a focus of, well, you know, you want to do something, you go do it, right? You want to go clean up your kitchen, do the dishes, you just go and do that. But you'll probably also know from your job that to just go and do the thing you want to do is hard, because it's going to be at the expense of something else you could do. It's got to then go into the schedule. I don't know if it's Jira or, you know, Monday.com or some other ghastly, project management software. But that's kind of the point where just doing anything at a big company is so much harder. And maybe that is why we can have like solo members of the community just come in and do so many cool things. So yeah, do we have any stuff to look at, or should we?
Nothing in particular is jumping out at me here, but if you're interested, we'll post some stuff afterwards, because this is very much. It's hard to know how much of the truth I can see versus the actual people in Blizzard who definitely have problems, but it's hard to deny someone mocking them up and talking at length about how they're laying out their textures wrong, or in a way that's just kind of like super inefficient. Because even this is one of the biggest things about the modern time. Hobbyists are in their like late 20s. They've been working on this stuff for years, and they've just become great at it effectively.
Yeah, I mean, we members of our team end up hanging out in the World of Warcraft data mining Discord. So like the people who say do data mining for the likes of Wowhead, MMO Champion, sometimes we just see the place where they hang out. They're really good, fun places to be. But you just look there and you're like, my God, the quality of talent there. You're just like, oh, this person has just exported a World of Warcraft zone into Unity. There it is. And yeah, it's pretty immense. There's also that thing though, if you're doing that in a very hobbyist way, you can just kind of laser focus your efforts on the one thing. So, I mean, yeah, if there are some textures that are weird and inefficient, maybe Blizzard have a reason for that is completely intuitive to them and completely unintuitive to us. Or maybe one of those things where it'd be completely unintuitive from a first principles basis, but whatever weird stuff goes on at Blizz explains it. It could just be something like that. Although this does kind of, who was it that asked it? Someone in chat asked about Heritage Armor, just saying they want more.
Oh, yeah.
I agree, but I also want class sets, and I also want more character customizations. And I think this is where it comes back to. We're in a world where Call of fucking Duty has how many full development studios? Plus legions of outsourcing.
Yeah, I mean, there's at least 3 come to mind. Because I mean, I know Beanox does COD stuff.
So Beanox, Raven, Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward usually handle one main development wise, and the other 2 are support.
Sledgehammer, Treyarch.
Yeah.
There's 6 studios that work in Call of Duty related content, right? And Call of Duty's really big. World of Warcraft is also really big, especially TBC and stuff. And there are just times where I wonder what is going on. Why does it feel like they struggle with just getting that out there? I mean, we have a new Call of Duty game coming out every year. I believe there are 3 lead Call of Duty teams, each making their own game on a 3-year cycle. Now, I'm not saying that that's something that would work for World of Warcraft. Not at all. Like,
No.
a good example here is Destiny. So Destiny 1 came out, and I believe then another team went to make Destiny 2. But the Destiny 1 team, or at least at some point,
Something, yeah, it wasn't immediately, but it was around that time.
but the Destiny 1 team,
Yeah.
by listening to their players, responded to a bunch of problems. They did Taken King, they basically got that game in a really good state. And then Destiny 2 released, basically led by essentially a different team, from what I understand. And then to a lot of Destiny players, it felt like all the lessons had just been completely forgotten. So that wouldn't work for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's really grim from the Destiny perspective, where people were continually waiting for Destiny 2's Taken King, despite the fact that Taken King had sort of already happened,
Yeah.
but in the other game. So I guess there's something there to be learned from that.
Yeah, which that basically is to say that there's parts of that Call of Duty development model that would not map onto something like World of Warcraft well at all. But in a world where World of Warcraft is actually really big business and really important, I mean, surely more resources can go its way so that, Eli doesn't have to get up there, say a reasonable answer from his role as somebody who's got to manage the production schedules of loads and loads and loads of staff, and now he's got the community exploding at him. It's the sort of thing where surely he's being set up in a position where he's got to fail by the community, because if he does those character customizations, what do we lose out on?
Yeah, do we lose like 9.2 class sets for more customizations? Who's willing to make that trade?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically they seem to have been willing to, but goes the other one. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think it's sort of
It's a lot of everything.
that's a situation for leaders who are so hard pressed for resources.
Yeah.
I guess.
So that's customization.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's too much else to talk about here other than Blizzard surely will have heard this, and perhaps there are people in Blizzard who will be given ammunition by the community, and they can send that that's a bit aggressive, but maybe they can send that ammunition up the chain in such a way where they can say, hey, we need more resources, we need a bit more respect over here, because look what our community wants. I would hope at least it would arm those key leaders within Blizzard with a bit better of an argument.